Hello and welcome to Gamersledge podcast. Come on in, sit down, relax, have yourself a bottle of necessary fluids, and relax. My name is Mark. I am one of your hosts of Gamersledge. Joining us this week, starting in my far left, the man, the myth, the person drinking whiskey, it's Dave.
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic. Joining us next to him, currently muted, but maybe she'll unmute to say hi, it's Kate. And then, last but not least, the man who's currently got his head chopped off camera, it's Matt.
Hi.
He's bobbing and weaving. This is episode 245, Persona of MST3K Guardians, Death Warmed Over edition. We were off the air last week.
We're all gonna fit on.
It did not. The Death Warmed Over edition did not. The rest of it did. But we were off last week because I was deathly ill, which you can still probably hear. I'm still recovering from. I think Kate's coughing. I know Dave's coughing. And Matt was sick not long ago. I think Matt's the healthiest of us here, which is saying something.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we're trying to kill my cough right now, so.
Well, there you go. We have so much to talk about, but I know we've been playing a ton of stuff in the last couple weeks, so why don't we start there? Why don't we go around the room, and we'll start with you, Dave. What have you been up to in the last couple weeks?
Of course, I'm still playing. 1 second, I'm sorry. Still playing Zone. Still loving that game. I think the last time I checked, I had about 95 hours into it, which has to be a record for me in the past couple of years.
Maybe ever.
So, still having lots of fun. No, definitely not ever.
So your entire life.
No, no. At one point, I was.
Lies.
No, totally true.
Slander, lies.
Oh my
Fake news.
God, I think my time spent on Fire Pro Wrestling 6 was like in the 300s at least. Yeah, it's not really a game you can put that much time into. So yeah, at one point I used to play a lot of games. I also I did pick up Has Been Heroes, but I actually didn't pop it in for a little bit. Funny little anecdote tonight. The downside of the Nintendo coding the cartridges. I had to switch and I ran out of hands and I was like switching the cartridge around, so I popped the one on my lips real quick, that for a second, and then switched the game around and then put it down and then licked my lips, and that taste stayed on there. So not cool, Nintendo. That's
All cause some friend eat a cartridge way back when.
yeah, like really, and trust me, they can still power through that. The
Yeah.
thing's not.
Kids are dumb.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really going to stop anything. So, but it annoyed the hell out of me tonight. So that sucked. So I played Has Been. Not what I thought it would be at all. I kind of thought it was going to be like Guardian Heroes, which is like one of my favorite games of all time by Treasure. I thought it was going to be more of like a beat 'em up kind of thing. It is so not. It is kind of like I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It's kind of like if Plants vs. Zombies met a roguelike. Does that make any sense?
Plants vs. Zombies was more of a 3D open world action RPG kind of situation.
Dear God, I'm talking about the original Plants vs. Zombies.
Okay.
Yeah, not Garden Warfare.
Okay, yeah, because Garden Warfare is the last thing I played, and that was not great.
Yeah, if I would have said it was a lot like Garden Warfare, I would have said that. No, I said it's like Plants vs. Zombies. Let's keep up here.
So you have enemies
up.
marching across the screen at you ominously?
Yes. And you have like 3 people, there's like 3 planes, and you're trying to juggle them back and forth. You select their attacks, but there's also spells and buffs and all this kind of stuff. Die really easy early on. And then you restart and you're playing. I'm like, how am I supposed to get better at this? And then you're collecting these like souls and you trade them in for new items and spells and stuff. that just kind of happens. You don't select anything, but then they pop up randomly in the game, and it kind of makes the game easier as you're going along. So it took me like a few tries, and I finally got past like the first stage of the game. So I kind of get how it works now, and it is actually a lot of fun, especially for the cost. I mean, the cost is only $20 for the game. How much longevity it has, because I really haven't played a ton of it. Probably about an hour so far, because it's kind of quick. Like, especially early on, you die quick. Once you start getting the hang of it and figuring out how the battle system works a little bit, then you can definitely start getting further in it. But it gets tough because it's just you don't have enough really on your side at first in order to get anywhere. So I guess it's kind of tough. I don't know. I'm not a good judge of that stuff anymore because I just think I'm terrible at everything. The other game I've been playing, I played the demo of the Puyo Puyo Tetris.
And was it everything we expected it to be?
No, the demo is terrible because it only lets you play like a versus kind of thing. There's no single player really in it, so it just kind of forces you to play like modes that I'm probably not going to play anyway. But it looks good, plays good. So I mean, that's all you really worry about there. I'm looking forward to the actual game, so I can the modes that I really want to play, like the puzzle modes and stuff. And of course, we all know Gamer. So I fired up my Steam account and downloaded Thimbleweed Park.
Wow.
We're just drowning. We can't respond. We're all dead from the sarcasm.
Yeah.
No, it's not sarcasm. This really happened.
And how did you like it?
Are we aware? Are we aware of what Thimbleweed Park is?
I am, but you will want to explain.
My brain is still stuck on the part.
Yeah, well.
Why don't you explain
In your spare time, you're a hardcore Counter-Strike player.
That's how I roll. Thimbleweed Park is basically a classic Scum game. It's that point-and-click kind of adventure game that was like it's actually done by the original people who did like Maniac Mansion and stuff.
Okay. This is the new one, but it's done.
It's done completely in that style, and there's tons of referential jokes. I'm not terribly far in it because I just kind of got into it over the past couple days, and I haven't had a ton of time to play it. But it's hilarious. The reference all the old games, all the old tropes and everything. It's very like self-aware, and it's very very high quality. The voice acting is great. It's a wonderful game that you should pick up for that. Well worth the price, especially if you love those point-and-click adventure games. Extremely, it's funny, it's well done. Especially if you played all the old games. There's going to be plenty of stuff you see in there and little jokes that they have. They tell that reference old stuff. It's just, it's great if you love that sort of stuff.
Speaking of,
and yes, I remembered my Steam password.
That's awesome. Speaking of old things that are kind of getting a revival, did anybody see that FMV game that came out on PlayStation this week?
It was crazy. I almost bought it just because.
I didn't even know that they still had. No, it's like full. There is no video game at all. It is just a straight FMV. What do you do? And I'm like, this almost looks good. Like, I almost want to buy it, but it's just so weird that somebody actually chose to do that.
So, like the Dragon's Lair style stuff where...
Like actual captured live actor video?
No, I'm saying like gameplay-wise. Like, what do you do in it? Like, is it like...
Showing gameplay in the trailer, so I'm not entirely sure, but it seemed like it was choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it was
go
like...
with the girl, don't go with the girl.
Yeah, go with the girl, don't go with the girl. Stick up for your friends, don't stick up for your friends. Hide, be bold.
Wait, is it like done in the guise of like a murder mystery kind of thing?
More like a mob.
Yeah, Mob Story or something along those lines.
Is it okay? Because I remember them doing something, and it was like supposedly it was like being pitched as like an interactive movie type of thing.
Yeah, that
I
was
wondered-
definitely this. I mean, that was what
That's
this
what this
is.
is.
Yeah,
I was actually curious about that.
and
What was it called?
I don't remember. It should be on the drop, but I looked at it and I'm like, "It's so weird." Glad we're in 2017 and they're making FMV games still. Hooray!
But it was high quality video.
No,
That
it was
the-
high quality video.
Yeah.
That was really what kind of I was like, "This is."
It'd be funny if they did it in PS1 era quality video.
Yeah.
blocks are like this.
You know, you laugh, but we're going to talk about that here in a couple minutes. Believe it or not, so that's kind of funny. Kate, what about you? What else did you? What have you been up to?
I've been playing the new Overwatch event, Uprising. So I played that a little bit.
And how do you like it?
It's fun. It's really fun. Except when, you know, from the healer, and then they're like, I need healing. Run away from me. I was trying to heal you. But it's fun. And, you know, you get some cool costumes and stuff like that. So, you know, I had some fun with that. And, got 2 platinums in one day.
Dang.
So I got
Wow.
the platinum, finally got the platinum on Dead or Alive Extreme 3 on my US account.
Nice.
And I got the platinum in Final Fantasy 15.
Wow. Congrats.
Got the Adamant toys.
That
Took me
sounded
about-
like a full day.
I'm trying to think how long it took me to beat the Adamant toys. Maybe like half an hour? And I was super, like, not really prepared for it. I was just like, oh, I'll just go fight it, whatever. Healing items, but it's okay. And I still haven't done episode Gladio, but I'll do that, like, maybe tomorrow. And then I fell asleep, so...
Nice.
So, yeah,
Matt?
that's all I've been doing. And lots of D&D stuff.
Oh, cool. Matt, how about you?
FMV game is called Late Shift
That's right. Late shift. Yes. Thank you.
because he starts out doing the late shift at the parking garage. Yeah. Mostly pretty much, yeah, really the only thing I've played in the last 2 weeks is Witcher 3. Oh my gosh, that game.
Flowers have you picked?
All of the flowers.
25 billion, gajillion, quadzillion, billion, million.
I still picture you just at that part of the game, just like, picking flowers.
I actually made it past Tutorial Town this time. I'm actually in the second area now.
With
And
Wolf.
some things about this game that are just amazing and transcendent, and then there are some things of this game that are so amazingly old school it almost gets. But it actually works out really well. Leveling. This has got to be the slowest leveling game that I have played in box D&D games. And the leveling system is kind of weird because the first 9 levels are 1,000 experience per level, and then when you hit 10, it jumps to 1,500 to 20. It'll jump up again, so it's kind of tiered, which is an interesting approach, rather than just being a group. But level 11, I'm doing the story missions only in as much as they're the ones that are at the level that I'm at, other than all the other stuff that's at or below my level first, and then loop back to the story missions. I still have more question marks on the second map than I have identified areas, so that's still crazy. But yeah, I got past my flower picking addiction. I've set up rules of engagement for myself on when I can and when I can't pick flowers. So,
Don't ever talk to me about spreadsheets. That's all I got to say. When you have to create rules of
there's a huge
engagements
difference
for
between
picking virtual flowers in a game, I think that qualifies a spreadsheet right there.
I didn't write it down. It's just in my head. So
I actually boned myself a little bit in Zelda because I have so much stuff for cooking and everything that I stopped collecting things. And then, because I was just like, oh, I got plenty of stuff for food and potions, and I got everything I need. And then I started doing the armor upgrading, where you need specific things to upgrade, and you need a lot of specific things. And I'm like, oh, I really should have been just doing that the whole time.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is, with as much collecting as I have done in the game, there's still for armor upgrades and stuff that I don't have. I don't even have one of, much less the required number of. So I'm guessing that's partially in the other areas that I haven't gone to yet, is where those items.
I gotta play this game.
Yeah, it's actually an amazing game.
I have it. Just other things that need to be played.
I was gonna say, I think you had it like for a really long time, and why are you not playing it? You would like it so much. It's so.
Yeah,
good.
I've had this since launch day.
Last of Us.
I've had this since launch day, and I got where the Griffin attacks the cart, and then I got stuck picking flower into camp that was way higher level than I was, and got killed. And it was late, so I went to bed. And I
That guy was picking flowers. Get him.
Yeah, I was picking flowers in the woods, and then all of a sudden these bandits start shooting me, and
He's picking flowers. Let's kill him.
That's right.
Although I have to say, the control there was a lot of tweaking done between launch and now. The controls are much where before. The horse riding isn't nearly as annoying.
Get murdered.
So
Marvel's dead.
they did clean up the control scheme a lot. But graphically, the game is amazing. It looks. It's not busy being overcast and rainy. Whenever the sun actually comes out, the world looks amazing. The interaction. I've still had a few glips. Had a time where all the sound except Geralt's voice cut out. A couple of times where he's gone into a cinematic pose to put his sword back in the scabbard, except the sword's already in the scabbard. So there's typical. This isn't completely open world; it's mostly open world, but it's close enough. But yeah, it's a very, very the lore and the world of this game about the best fantasy setting I've come across in a good long while. Believable. It doesn't fall into the trope of everyone so epically horrible that it goes to the point where just, the characters are all nuanced. Then really believable. Even the minor peasants that you talk to that actually have speaking parts versus the I am error over and over and over again. Have very believable motivations and stories and needs and whatever. So it's a very believable world. I'm still working to master combat. Level 11, I still haven't exactly figured out when's a good time to use bombs. Getting much better at switching back and forth between the magics and attacks.
The biggest question that I know Mark is dying to ask: have you played Gwent?
I have played Gwent. It's a fun game. It's pretty simple. I am not enticed such as he to play it to death. I find a new character that plays the game. I'll play them once, find out if I can beat them or if they just have like 20 main character. He's butcher. But I still have a very basic deck. I haven't been buying all the cards that I can find because money in this game is like ridiculously rare.
Like real money in real life.
Yeah, it is. It's like, hey, I finally started bartering for my quest rewards because I'm like, I need more money. I can't just take the bailout that you were going to give me for this. It's like, man. And then you sell stuff for like 4 crowns, and then he turns around and puts it in his inventory and charges 95. It's like shopping at GameStop with weapons. It's like, you just paid me 4 crowns for that and turned around and charging some poor schmuck 95 crowns for it.
Can't you just murder everybody for their money? I mean, it is a video game, right?
I haven't tried to attack a peasant. Not really, because I think you actually have to have an enemy in to enter combat. You can draw your sword anytime, but you don't it doesn't actually do anything unless you. And you have 2 swords. That's an interesting system. The steel sword
it's not
versus the
Fable.
silver sword. It's not Fable, no. And you know, the choices are generally pretty good when you're doing conversation choices. Generally, the choice you pick has the outcome that you thought it would. I had a couple of times where back on it than what I thought when I made that choice. But all in all, it's generally working out pretty well. Within the first game, I'd managed to get a friend killed. I forget what the list was, but there were like 4 things that I had done within the first 5 hours of this game. Gotten someone I called a friend killed, or actually had to kill them. Actually, it's just like, okay, well that took a dark turn. Just to see how some of the other choices worked out, because it'd just be interesting to see. I'm obviously not going to play it again, but because by the time I get done with this one time, it's going to be ridiculous number of hours. I can't say how many hours it's been because I can't find anywhere in the game that tells you how many hours you've been playing, but nothing is quick. It's quickly in this game. It's a very paced game. But yeah, overall, really enjoying it. You are not by any means an invincible force of nature. You can die pretty easily, because they don't wait. I think this was talked about before, but the enemies in this game engage in combat with one of their cohorts, stab you in the back while you're fighting the other guy. And back damage does like 1.5 times damage. So while you're wailing on this guy over here, some other dude comes up and stabs you in the back, and it does 1.5 times damage or something. So group it becomes Dark Souls-ish almost, because you spend a but yeah, you gotta dodge and roll away from the enemies and try to, so that you can take them on in smaller numbers. Otherwise, they will swarm you and they will kill you. Mechanic still kind of is just one of those cutesy, silly things that works, but it's just funny. Cutting your beard cut and then slowly watch it grow back in. Yeah, it does. I'm sure if you played The Witcher 1 and 2, there's a lot of things I can tell are references to stuff that's happened before, but I don't get it because or 2. Interestingly enough, though, because I was in the Gwent beta on GOG, got a free copy of Witcher 1 for PC. So if I ever feel like going back and experiencing that, I can.
I heard that Books was complaining that the game was killing him somehow.
No, what it was he sold the rights. We talked about this. I think you weren't here for some reason.
Oh.
I
just saw something that I thought it was a misleading headline.
He
not,
sold.
like, everyone's like, oh, this guy like hates games. He doesn't. He ended up selling, because the books are old, right? They're not like new.
Well,
rights to it just as like a flat fee,
right.
And now it's like how successful they've been. Back then, because he didn't think it was going to be successful. He doesn't follow video games or anything. He's just like, so now he was kind of like, oh well, I sold it for a flat fee. I didn't think it'd be successful. It's cool that it's successful, but I got money off of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I would have made a whole lot more if I'd have restructured that deal differently. But the
book sales are actually like going up.
Yeah, going up because of the popularity of video game series. So he's not super happy.
But yeah, it's funny. He's the anti Alec Guinness from the Star Wars. Because Alec Guinness was the only one that worked royalty deals for the original Star Wars. Opposite of that.
Yeah, I think the last actor ever to do that.
That is not true. Somebody did. I want to say it was Bruce Willis or somebody.
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Oh.
Because they like to screw actors. That's why they don't often do that anymore.
Right.
Because in case movies get really popular, like Star Wars did, they're like, "Oh, we don't want to give them more money. That's not cool."
Oh, 1 to 2 million for 6 months of work is, terribly unreasonable.
Hey, but if somebody says, "Don't pay me, just give me points," and they want to take that risk, that should be an option.
Well, I'm sure it is if their agent does a good enough job.
Other than that,
Make it fun.
anything but get into a beta that I don't know if I can talk about or not until I read the agreement on the beta. So maybe we'll talk about that next week. And then there was a little show that made its return to television. I was very much into this week.
Oh, I need to go watch the first episode then.
And then the spin-off Class aired after that. Wasn't so much a fan of that, but we'll see. I'll keep watching it because I'm a glutton. And The Expanse continues to be an amazing show, so I'll keep watching that. Otherwise, it's been busy as all get out. I haven't had a ton of time. I'm almost caught up on Star Wars Rebels. Get through it. Yeah. Oh, and Agents of Shield did second episode of the main, what's it called, framework that I wasn't expecting, and it kind of made me sad.
I'll have to check that out. I think I must be 1 or 2 behind. I lost a week.
Yeah, but there's soap. There's soap, so that makes up for it.
Blue soap.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally lost a week in there. I had so much to talk about last week that I had a list, and then I just had. Oh, you can't see that because it's not blinding white light. Nice. Yeah. So, I played Clash Royale. Obviously.
That was in the case of Pulp Fiction or something.
Yeah, that's what it was in there. Star Trek Online just got a huge new update that dropped yesterday. I haven't even had a chance to play
it
that
was
yet.
like 9 gigs. Holy cow,
it was huge. Yeah, I went to go play it. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll be waiting for a little while and not play it tonight. I played a ton of Skylanders Imaginators, and I said I was done with that when we moved and sold all the figures off. I'm like, I'm not going to invest in that again until my wife, of course, looked at me.
You broke up when you said the name of the game. You did say Skylanders?
Skylanders Imaginators. It is the latest Skylanders. And this is how messed up it is. There is a create a character option in this game. But you obviously can't make an infinitely customizable physical character, right? So what they have are these units that light up, the little diamond in there lights up when you put it on the deal. So you're buying a physical item for a virtual character. It's kind of evil genius. I'm just gonna say that. So, it supports still.
You bought it.
Yeah, it's working because my wife wanted me to buy it, so we bought it. And I've been playing a lot of it, and I think that this is probably actually the best one. They've iterated on the formula every single year. They said they're not going to release one this year. They're going to take a year off and then come back again next year. But it's actually really a lot of fun, and this does have a Crash Bandicoot in it, which I have, as well as Dr. Neo Cortex, and so I have that I bought that specific special starter for it, and it's a lot of fun. So, anyways, yeah. So technically, I have played Crash Bandicoot already this year, so that's kind of interesting. Parappa the Rapper remastered. It looks so good in HD until you get to the movies, which are in their original PlayStation 1 resolution, as you were talking about earlier, Kate. And guess what? It looks horrible. It looks super bad. So, just pull up a chair there. Weirdo. The game's a lot of fun, and it does have a platinum trophy, so I will be going for that. Ukulele. I just did that level right before coming on the podcast. That's because I just got my license.
The timing of it still okay on there? Because I remember when they released it on the PSP and I gave it a shot, the timing was actually off.
Nope, it is 100% correct.
And it was near impossible to because I just could not get the new timing down.
Nope, I had no problems with it whatsoever. I passed both first levels right off the bat. Didn't even have a problem. I think I dipped down once on the first one, but that's because I was going for the cool right off the bat without practicing at all. So, yeah, it took me a little bit. Ukulele, we got a review code in for, and we put up a video review on the site, but I wanted to check out the PS4 difference versus the PC to report on any differences that we had there. I will say that game, if you go, I wonder what 90s Rare was like at the height of its heyday for making platformers, it's Ukulele. That's exactly it. I mean, it runs buttery smooth. It's really nice. It has the same problems as every other platforming game in existence, 3D platforming game in existence, namely the camera. You're still gonna, have issues with that just like you would in any other game. But beyond that, smart mechanics. It's a lot of fun. The characters don't talk, but they emote, and you read. They make little the bat makes a da noise while you read the screen, and the lizard makes a different one that's deeper, and it actually has charm to it. It's really, really fun if you're looking for a platformer in this day and age, like a 3D platformer. That's the game I would recommend. Like, I would not hesitate to give it an 8 all day. It is that much fun. They do have some really cheap mini games in the game, like you can find these tokens that you find a specific side quest character who's there, and use the token to play the game. They're giant arcade games, and they're fun games. It's very easy to clear them for the story, but then if you want the extra special bonuses, because it gives you bonuses in game, you've got to beat the time record on the high score on the game, and a lot of it just feels like random, like you are prevented from achieving the high score at random, which is it's not a skill based thing. It's a, can I just happen to get a set of 5 laps around this track without hitting something or having something
translation Mark's getting old and his reflexes are getting slow.
No, but yeah, no. There's random stuff.
It happens.
Yeah, I believe you.
I
had no problem
you're
clearing.
randomly slower. That's why I don't play Mega Man anymore, dude. It's okay. I'm playing Thimbleweed Park. Hey, I'm okay with this.
So
it's okay.
Last week, when I was mostly dead to the world, the only thing that kept me running was actually Persona 5. And let me tell you, remote play on the PS4 is with PC and Mac is fantastic. It is now a complete. I mean, it's just like I'm playing it on my TV. It's fantastic. But anyways, I'm now 75 hours into Persona 5. I have one main storyline quest left, and I am then done with the game, and we'll be starting New Game Plus. What can I say about Persona 5? It's an amazing JRPG, and if you like JRPGs, then this is probably one of the smartest ones. I am 75 hours in, and I'm still unlocking new abilities to use in combat. Like, they have a very... the game is kind of a time simulator in that you basically only have 2 opportunities during most days to pick what you want to do. Like, you can go work at a part-time job, or you can hang out with one of your friends. And if you hang out with one of your friends, then that might strengthen your interpersonal relationship, and doing so actually has tangible benefits for the combat system. Like, for example, if you hang out with one of your friends early on, you'll get something called a baton pass. And the combat system is fairly Pokemon-esque in how it works. You've got your monsters. They have a bunch of different attributes like fire, ice, wind, nuclear, psionic, things like that. And so if you develop a somewhat beyond superficial relationship with one of your characters, if you've got you're attacking against two different types of monsters, one's fire and one's wind, and you have your fire person go, if they hit that person with the element that they're weak to, they actually get to go again. And with the baton pass, you can actually tag in the next person who has the next weakness, so you can just keep this chain where the bad guys never get to attack. And so it's stuff like that where you really have to decide how you want to spend your time and what bonds you want to strengthen. And so, like I said, I'm 75 hours in now, and I just unlocked a brand new ability that's making combat even more amazing for me. So I can't wait to see what New Game Plus looks like. I don't know if you get to keep all of your social statuses or what, but it'll be pretty interesting. The game's story is really, really well done. I did peg the final swerve about 20 hours into the game, but that's just because I watch and read too many things. Most people, I think, will be pleasantly surprised right up until the end. The writing of the characters is amazing. One of the characters is a art student who has like this voice, and like I listened to it for about a minute and a half, and then I'm like, that's Matthew Mercer, isn't it? I have to go IMDb this now. And of course it is. So if you like Critical Role or any of that stuff, he's plays a very eccentric character in the game. It's quite amusing. The voice acting across the board is really well done, and the game is just flat out fun. I do get frustrated because sometimes I forget to save the way I should, because you can only save when you have the ability to make a choice, and that has led me to forget to save, and then I suddenly got killed, and the game doesn't let you restart battles unless it's a boss battle. In most cases you have to go back to whatever your last save was, and a lot of times that was half an hour ago, so yay.
Wow.
Oh yeah. But on the whole, it's so good. I highly recommend it. One of the news things in the news feed will pass in a minute, when we get to the news, actually talks about, there's a great article about how it uses the Japanese punk aesthetic in the game to underlie its tones of rebellion against society, which is not the norm for Japanese society. So it's kind of interesting. But they even show, like, some of the old 70s bands logos and how similar the art style is to Persona 5. It's pretty cool. So that's that one. And then a little game dropped on Monday called Guardians of the Galaxy Episode 1, which I have played through and beaten the first episode already. And I was really surprised Matt didn't criticize me in some way for the way I gushed about it in our online chat, but I basically flat out said, they can make these for the rest of my lifespan. I'm good. Like, they can just continue to take any Marvel comic book and make it into a Telltale series, and I'm good. Because this hour and a half I spent with Guardians of the Galaxy, and it is the comics, it's not the movie version. But even so, this was more fun for me than I think reading any of the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff that I can remember. So, I don't know if they would do it with lesser known characters, but they should. Because, Matt, do you remember watching the Watchmen motion graphics comics.
Mhm.
Do you remember how you're like, man, they should do this with all comics?
Yeah.
It's exactly that feeling again. It's like
Some X-Men ones did one too.
Yeah, they did, and they. This is so good. I mean, yeah, it's an interactive comic. That's really all it is. I mean, the control. I will say that for the first time ever in a Telltale game that I can recall, there were no technical issues whatsoever. Not a single hiccup, glitch, slowdown, anything. The controls were just fine. It was more about the story and all the characters.
Because it's volume one. Volume one.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's when you get to volume 5, that's when they gave up.
The story is a preposterously impossible and fun story. So let's just say that I think anyone who is familiar with the Marvel Universe at all cannot believe the events of episode 1 or that they will stay the way they are. There's got to be something more to this, so we'll see.
So was the whole thing an hour and a half, even for
the whole first episode
by chapter,
or the whole first chapter or episode was, I want to say it was an hour and a half to hour 45. It wasn't much longer than an hour and a half, if it was at all. So it was much shorter than what we've seen in the past, but at the same time, I'm okay with that. I'm happier with good and short as opposed to longer and filler and all that stuff. And it didn't have a whole lot of filler in it, so I was pretty pleased with it. So yeah, now we just get to wait for 2 months for the next one. 2 to 3 months, who knows. And then last but not least, a little Kickstarter finally launched that I've been waiting for a long time, and that was the Mystery Science Theater 3000 revival. I have now watched the first 4 episodes. Episode 1 is a Danish kaiju film. So, do I really have to say more? A Danish kaiju film? That's fantastic. Episode 2 was a movie about Bigfoot that used a ton of wildlife stock footage and has the stupidest kid in history in it. Episode 3 is a time travel movie, and episode 4 was a Roger Corman disaster movie. So far they are living up to the finding the worst movies possible to show. But I'm almost concerned at times that Felicia Day and the guest stars that they have on are too talented for the show. That's like my worst criticism I can make, is that, you could always tell that, they found their niche on the TV show, the old style. But the interesting thing is that, to me, the show seems more relevant now than when it actually aired back then. And the production value on it is still like, it's a step above Minnesota Public Television, but not too far. You can see how they spent the money on the show, but it's good. And the people involved in it care about what they're doing, and they feel very relatable. But as soon as you see Felicia Day singing in the opening sequence, it seems weird, especially if you watch the old shows, because she actually knows how to sing. And it's suddenly like, wait, wait, did this get big budget or something? And so it's a little weird, but it's really good. I've really enjoyed it. I won't say that, they haven't found like their Puma Man or, those episodes that like you're just busting a gut for 90 minutes. They haven't hit anything like that so far, but I have found myself laughing out loud at least twice during each of the movies, and most of the time I'm sitting there with a goofy grin on my face. So I consider that mission achieved.
That's kind of way I've been like with most of like MST3K stuff. It's just enjoyable from like start. You just have a good time. I was really excited for this to get started. Unfortunately, I started watching it when I took NyQuil, so I didn't last through the whole first episode yet. And I didn't realize that apparently the internet now hates Felicia Day. When
really?
that happened.
Well, I don't know.
I saw comments and everybody was like trashing her now.
Oh, well,
They were like saying like, oh, her, great, let's, she can display her mediocrity. And I'm like, when did this happen? I thought it was okay to still like Felicia Day. I guess not.
well,
that was
she's
upsetting.
been thoroughly
just
enjoyable.
on the internet, not on.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the internet, so it's like.
Yeah, no, she's been
they're
thoroughly
never-
enjoyable in this. Patton Oswalt as the son of TV's Frank. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's complicated, but yeah, he's been great. Like Joel or not? Yeah, is it Joel the new guy? Joel Hodgson? Is his name Joel? No, Jonah. Jonah's fine.
Joel is the original.
Yeah, I know. He makes appearances. That's part of the problem. Jonah is completely fine as the new guy. The quality of the jokes are great. They do MST3K throwbacks all the time. Like somewhere, I think in the first movie, somebody turned a knob and they're like, "Quick! He's turning on the interocitor. We have to look busy." So I was like, "Yay! This Island Earth references already. All right, I'm good with this." For me, the probably the biggest difficulty in watching it still is that I am used to my Tom and Crow voice, and so these guys do not sound anything like Tom and Crow. Like the guy doing Crow will once in a while kind of slip into an impression of the old guy doing Crow, and so it's like a weird thing, but yeah.
I kind of wish they used new robots. I thought we were going to get new robots out of it. I don't quite understand why they didn't do that. I think that would have made it really easy, like just kind of rehash the same thing where he either like, friends, or maybe there were robot friends that he just co-opted, that were there. But I really think a couple new characters.
So the interesting thing is they also changed Gypsy's voice, and Gypsy just sounds like a normal female now, which is so weird. But they are using her to good effect in the show, so I'm not upset about it. I think
explain that one at least. So that
but overall, I've really enjoyed it. But the thing I noticed is that it is the exact format of the original one. Like they even take commercial breaks on Netflix for no reason, which is kind of hilarious. But it's from everything from the singing numbers to this and that, and then at the end we've got the love theme, and then play the bumper at the end of the most outrageous thing that was in the movie. And the only thing that's missing is the guitar riff. And that's actually something that I keep missing every single time. But, hey, whatever. It's nitpick. Overall, I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm glad to see this. The way they're doing it seems really smart. And I highly recommend it to everybody.
Huzzah!
Anybody else have anything else before we jump into the news? Overwhelming noise means no. All right, great. So,
Sound silence.
we did talk about that one, I believe. We talked about them announcing the New Warriors as a comedy with Squirrel Girl as the main character 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talked about last week.
All
It
right.
cast just a few moments ago.
Did we talk about
The actors.
who were the rest of the actors for what roles? I did not see that.
Yeah, they didn't announce the actors. It's just the.
Oh,
just
right.
the
Okay.
comic characters.
Who are the comic characters then?
Oh gosh. Keep talking. I'll
Yeah,
look
okay.
it up again. I got rid of it.
Did we talk about
As long as
Marvel's?
that Nighthawk.
No, I don't care if Nighthawk's there. I want Darkhawk in there.
Darkhawk, that's it.
Night Thrasher is the character you were thinking of, probably, who is actually on the team.
Night Thrasher, that's it. I'm an idiot. I totally forgot.
Marvel Heroes coming to consoles. Did we talk about that? I'm guessing that's a no. All right, so Marvel's Heroes Omega is coming to consoles, PS4 and Xbox One. It will be free to play. However, it is not going to be cross-compatible with the PC version. We don't know if this is a sequel or if it's just a port, but it's coming nonetheless. New Harry Potter RPG could be in development from Warner Brothers. All done with internal studios, so that's interesting. An anime fighting game group has now announced a new tournament scene called Burst League, which is all only about anime fighting games. So it's going to be the Evo of anime fighting games, which I think is pretty cool. So that's just starting now. They're saying they're going to have tournaments across, I want to say across the United States and a couple other countries. But then they'll have one big one just like Evo does. So that's interesting. It's kind of a niche market, but some of those games are a lot of fun, and there are huge followings for them. So it'll be games like Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, King of Fighters 14, and so yeah. And this is being put together by one of the most popular Super Smash tournament organizers in the country. So they say that it's going to be Seattle, Toronto, Orlando, and Boston to start, and they'll continue more along those lines, and they'll have a grand finale one.
Are they going to have Street Fighter involved? Because that had like tons of anime.
Nope.
Or are they going to be like all elitist about it?
Oh, they're going to be all elitist about it.
All elitist about it.
Yep.
Well, the thing is like
I have-
Street Fighter is technically not an anime fighter.
Right.
When you think of anime fighter, actually not so much. Well, it is part of the style, but it's also the way it fights. Fight like an anime fighter.
I was wondering if it was like fighters based off anime, like the anime came first. But then...
Fighter is actually a subgenre.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I
Persona...
have the list if you want to hit.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I lost audio.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead. You're back.
Hello? Okay. Okay. It's Squirrel Girl, which you already knew. Excuse me. Mr. Immortal. Speedball. Microbe and Debris. The last one I've never heard of, so I don't know if she's existed in the comics. I've just never come across her.
That is a weird version of the lineup, if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
Vance. I was really expected. He's not there. I.e. Justice.
Or Nova, even.
Speedball. Speedball's an obvious
Speedball
choice,
and
especially
Nova,
if they're going to
though,
be a comedy.
They were gonna. Yeah, it's supposed to be a comedy, so I could see power-wise they would say Speedball and Nova would seem too similar.
Yeah, but Nova's got the brain of an omnipotent celestial force inside of him. That could be hilarious, personally, but whatever. Sure.
Sure. Anyway, Mr. Immortal was an interesting inclusion because he's obviously much more associated with Great Lakes Avengers than.
Yeah, obviously. Nerds. We're nerds.
Yeah.
Persona 5 has already shipped 1.5 million copies in its first week in the United States. Now, that also did include the 6 months of Japanese shipped units as well, but still that's a really good start. GameStop has confirmed a 2 credit card breaches in the last few months. So if you've used GameStop.com, you might want to take action now. Hackers may have siphoned credit card and customer data from their website, they announced. Ghost in the Shell looking like it's going to lose an easy $60 million after everything is said and done at the box office, even with overseas releases. Star Citizen has officially passed $146 million in funding, which is nuts.
For a game that's never going to come
Um,
out.
man, because I got sick last week, we didn't get to talk about this at the time at all. But Gearbox decided to distribute the new Bulletstorm remake through a key reseller named G2A, which is notoriously known for being super shady in how they get their keys in the first place. They got decimated online, Gearbox did, by the internet, saying, why would you do this in the first place? And then suddenly Gearbox was like, oh well, we're going to issue a thing that in 24 hours, if you don't make all these changes to your site, then we're going to back out of the deal. And then they backed out of the deal. It's like they didn't even vet their publisher partner when they went to sign up, I guess. I don't know. It's really weird. But there's not much. I don't know how
probably just. I don't really fault them on this. I mean, I think they did the right thing where they listened to customer feedback and took care of it right away. I think what probably this is the very realistic scenario. They probably were researching people. They probably got the best deal from that company, which often happens when people are a little less scrupulous. They'll give you the better deal out of stuff, and that's probably what happened. They were probably just making a sound financial decision on their part, so they thought, thinking people really wouldn't care and everything, and customer backlash came in, and they rectified it. So it's all good.
The internet is also in an uproar because CD Projekt Red, makers of The Witcher, attempted to trademark the word cyberpunk because their upcoming game is called Cyberpunk 2077. They say they're not going to do anything bad with the word or anything like that, and to trust them, which is always how those conversations...
The part everyone forgets to read of that article is the word's been copyrighted for the last 20 years already. They bought the copyright from another company.
Yeah. So still, it's kind of interesting. Ghost in the Shell saw a 60% week-over-week drop between its first and second weeks in theaters. That was still relevant back at the time. Remedy is bringing Quantum Break's engine to the PS4 for its next game. It's codenamed P7. We don't know what it is. My question to the panel.
They're just skipping Persona 6 and went straight to 7.
Yeah, going straight to 7. Do you think we will see an Alan Wake collection remake on PS4 since they're porting this engine?
No.
Doesn't seem too likely, I don't think.
I would love to see that.
Wasn't that actually a Microsoft IP at one point? Like, didn't they actually own the rights to...
I know they published
or was
it.
Just...
I think this studio owns the Alan Wake franchise IP.
Okay.
I think Microsoft published it. So if that is the case, then
I
it would
wasn't
be
sure if it
doable.
was one of those. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was one of those second party. Is that what it's considered?
Yeah,
second party
yes.
considered. Is that when the main company owns the property, but it's they're kind of like an exclusive developer, but they're not actually. The development house is not owned, but the IP is owned by. Some weird.
It doesn't even. The IP doesn't even need to be owned by the developer or by the
parent company.
Parent company, for a second party relationship.
So like
Like-
Spyro.
No, it's actually the other way around. Think of Insomniac. Insomniac, when they did nothing but PlayStation games for forever and a day, they were a second-party developer.
See, yeah, I thought second party was like they were exclusively developing for this one company, but the IPs were technical company. You know what I'm saying?
Because
I'm probably
Insomniac,
totally wrong on this.
Insomniac owns the IP for the superhero game.
Nothing. Oh yeah, for Sunset Overdrive.
No. Yeah, Sunset Overdrive they do, but do they not own the IP for what was their superhero game on PlayStation?
Or no, they didn't have one. Ratchet and
Talking
Clank.
about Infamous. Infamous is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Infamous. I was not referring to. I meant Sucker Punch.
Yeah, you're talking about Sucker Punch.
Punch, yeah.
Yeah, Sucker Punch. So Sucker Punch would be an example of a second-party studio, whether or not they own the IP address, because they were only making PlayStation games, even though they were
The IP address.
the IP address. Did I
You are
mention
still
I'm
sick.
still sick? Yes, I'm very sick still. Yes, the intellectual property, regardless of what address it's at. Again, all of us nerds.
man.
All of us. In the first, I think of a couple Marvel can't catch a break this week stories. It turned out that one of their artists hid particularly controversial.
It doesn't matter. United trumped them all. It doesn't matter anymore. Nobody remembered.
Yeah, then United said, "Hold me beer," and they took care of that real quick. Yeah. There's a great article on how. Say that again, Kate.
And then Sean Spicer said Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
That was
There
my
was-
favorite joke of the internet that week.
There was a great article on Kotaku about how Rock Band VR is actually really great, and because they are the smallest VR segment possible and it is exclusive to Oculus Rift, no one will ever play the game, including me. Uncharted Lost Legacy is launching August 22nd and has between 8 and 10 hours of gameplay, according to the manufacturers. Bayonetta launched on PC. Surprised that I kind of called that was what it was going to be. So it launched on Steam. I think we've got a follow-up story where they've sold like 100,000 copies already in the first week, which is fantastic for a game that's old. That is that old. There's the Japanese punk story. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is definitely bringing James Gunn back as the director, and he said something very interesting in that interview, in that we know that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will happen after the second Infinity War movie, whatever it's going to be called. The what would that be? The fourth Avengers movie at that point. He said that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be the last iteration of this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So odds are we could see a different lineup there shortly thereafter.
You're
Which,
trying
to me-
make me cry on this podcast.
Well, if you think about it, I would imagine we're not going to see Ghost Rider as much as I would like to.
No.
I mean, Yondu could theoretically be in it still if it's the future version. I don't know. Has Captain Marvel ever been in the team? I don't think she has she?
I think unofficially.
She might have been during her binary days for a while.
Oh, I didn't even think about binary. Maybe, yeah. All right. Well, so that's interesting.
There's a fairly deep roster they could pull from. I mean, they could even pull the 3000 team and make it current. They wouldn't have to jump fast forward into the future.
Yeah, but it'd be cool if they did. Maybe we'll get those 2099 movies. Oh, I'm really not feeling good.
They'll eventually.
Oh well, I think I said this on my Twitter account. It's weird that I am now looking forward to movies in blocks of 10 years. So if you look at it that way, I have at most 4 to 5 blocks left. So I'm hoping 2099 happens sometime after I'm dead.
It's actually a great thing because it's probably keeping so many people from suicide.
I don't disagree with you on that point, actually. There is a lot of stuff to look forward to.
I've talked about this with people on bad days, and it's just, and it's a realistic thing. It's just like I have been basing a lot of stuff in my life on, well, we haven't seen, the end of this Thanos thing. We have to hold it together, time. So I think if that's what, helps get the world going in a good place, because we want to, I'm okay with that.
Better one, you got to hold out for Warner Brothers to make a good DC movie again.
I'm not being unrealistic here, folks.
I
don't want to hold my breath for that one.
I know I'm gonna like just kick myself, but I actually think Wonder Woman's gonna be good. I actually think that they're gonna do a decent job on it. I still have like zero hope for Justice League. Zero hope. I have zero hope for Justice League, but it looks like Wonder Woman might actually be a good movie. Knock on wood, please God.
Well, when you have the one character in the DC universe who trusts nobody and has contingency plans to murder them all, trying to build a team, the whole logic kind of falls apart there.
Well, that, again, if it was actual Batman and not Frank Miller Dark Knight Batman, I would disagree with you completely. Because Batman, yes, he's had trust issues later, but during the beginning of the formation of the Justice League, he was actually a pretty, okay. He's an okay dude. It wasn't until they wiped his memories.
He was still an okay dude. No, he was still an okay dude in the Tower of Babel story.
Except for when he goes to orphanages to purposely choose black-haired, blonde-eyed young boys to ruin their lives forever.
They call me Dick. Kids can be cruel.
PS4 Slim models moving forward will now have 1 terabyte hard drives, which is fine since you now have external storage and plenty of. Yeah, it's still too small, but it's better. Carmen Sandiego returning as an animated children's show on Netflix.
Yeah, what's the number Netflix was kicking around? Like they're investing like 16 billion in shows.
Yeah. I said on my
Twitter
Twitter
that's
account,
a lot.
Where in the world did that come from? Yay. People are supposedly already getting super excited about it, so I will be watching it because I actually really enjoyed Carmen Sandiego. I want to see what they do with it.
If it doesn't have Rockapella doing the song, though, I'm out.
What if it's Pentatonics doing the theme song?
I was just trying to say.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That might be a gimme there. I have to hear it. But they might get a gimme on that.
Might have to hear it. You know you'd love it.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, go ahead.
No,
whose last album? Whose last album are you about to talk about?
Pentatonics, PTX4.
You liked or disliked?
Pentatonics' last album. Okay. It was okay. It wasn't bad, but there wasn't a single track on there that had me gushing like previous albums.
Have you heard the Bohemian Rhapsody though?
Yep, yeah, that was on there. It's good, but it sounds like Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody was already very harmonic and or that kind of sound. It's not like you take an actual piece of music, like this album is all actually good musically songs that are then just done in their style, and that's a lean track because they actually have to sing with them, but
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 has 5 post-credit scenes. That does seem like a little bit excessive.
now they're just
I love how they're just messing with people at that point. God, I
mean,
love James Gunn.
Shouldn't that just be part of the actual movie? Seriously, 5 of them?
No, because it's just a that he just wanted to do just to mess with people, and it's gonna be hilarious.
I'm actually worried about the humor in this movie, that it's going to turn into too much of a comic and destroy it. But
well, so I don't know if I discussed that I watched that other James Gunn movie, the Belko project or Belko experiment. Did we talk about this at all?
is that the one where the people in the building all try to kill each other?
Yes. That is the worst movie I've watched in 20 years.
That's why I haven't watched it. It looked horrible.
It is past horrible to downright insultingly stupid. Like, there is no point.
So not even good enough for MST3K, you're saying?
No, like this is. I really mean it when I say that. I could not find a single redeeming quality or idea or concept in the entire movie. It was horrifically bad. Like, if I could give something a -2 out of 10, I would give it a -2 out of 10.
What movie is this?
The Belko Project, or the Belko Experiment.
I've never heard of it.
It's a short story that he apparently wrote. It was like either in college or shortly after, and he never wanted to do anything or expected to do anything with it. And apparently he got approached to have it made. And he was like, money? F yeah, sure, I'm going to do that. If you really want to make this, have at. And I'm telling you, it is like the dumbest. I could have written this in 2 days. And I could have written it better than this, which is horrible because I'm not that great a writer, but man, this was horrible. There's nothing good or redeeming or worthwhile in the whole thing. It just seemed like a cash payday for everybody that was involved in the movie.
And you stuck with it for the whole time.
Well, so Turo took me to see it on my birthday. And so it's like one of those things where, like, I mean, I was in there like 10 minutes in going, oh my God, no. And then the head shaking just got slower and more like farther to the left and right as the time progressed. And then Turo was rolling around laughing because he's like, it's so bad. I'm like, no, it's not good. It's not good, is it, Marvel? It's not good. No. So, yeah. Steam has a massive new competitor.
American Gods.
Oh, God, wait. It's still not out. April 30th is the first one, right?
April 30th, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But apparently it's getting some really positive buzz.
A ton of positive buzz, and I super want to see it. Apparently they updated Technology Boy to be more current/relevant. So I'm interested in that.
Yeah, it's been...
Yeah, I know. It's like 20 years since the source material was written. So yeah.
Yeah, almost. What was it, like 2001, I think?
Yeah. So I'm
but
super
yeah,
excited.
I saw like the early trailers. Man, they nailed the look. Like, that's exactly what I had pictured in my head is what they were showing on the screen. So I'm really, really excited for this one.
I one of the things that stuck with me in many of the different reviews I was reading was that they said that they did not hold any punches back. Like, it's a crazy show. So I'm super excited about it because I really enjoyed that story to begin with, and if they do it justice I don't care if it's silver screen or the big screen, if they do it justice, then I will be super happy about it.
In 100 words or less, because I actually never read it.
The premise is that all the
gods are real.
Yeah, and like all the fairy tales, and the way they get their power is by people believing in them. So as like people like emigrated from like Europe and stuff over into the new world, started getting like less and less powerful because people stopped believing in a lot of different things. And then the new gods come up, which are like technology and media and stuff like that. So then now they are getting more powerful. And then people don't like this, so there's some strife.
Got it.
Yeah, did you say got it? Yeah, because they're gods. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
What
is it? This is a Showtime or something, isn't it?
No, it's like it's not FX. It's
Stars.
Stars. No, is it Stars? I don't even think it's Stars.
It is. It's Stars.
Maybe it's on Stars.
Was a member of.
I thought it
Please
was.
Trust me on this one.
All right.
Please trust me on this one. As he looks it up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like on top of this one. Okay.
If trust me, it's on Stars.
Thank you.
It's on Stars.
But you're also Canadian, so maybe it's on a different thing. Right?
It's on Stars, eh? All right. So
I've
Steam.
never said that, like,
I know you've never said
Ever.
that.
No,
I know you've never said
and
that.
that was the most disappointing thing when I met her, was that never happened.
It's because she's not from Ottawa. If she was from Ottawa, she would say that stuff, but she's not.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
You didn't. Which part did you not know? That it was only people from Ottawa that said that, or that you didn't know that she wasn't from Ottawa?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I knew she wasn't from Nova Scotia, which was awesome because ever since I was a little kid, I was really fascinated by Nova Scotia, and I wanted to visit there one day. It was the weirdest thing. I wish I still had it, but there was I had this little weird diary thing that we had to do for a school project when I was in the second grade or something, and I wrote about Nova Scotia. What second grader does that?
You.
Yeah.
Just you.
And I got to go to Nova Scotia. It was awesome.
Don't write about Nova Scotia.
Yeah. But Nova Scotia is awesome. They have scallops there. It was one of the things they said. If you're in Nova Scotia, you got to get the scallops. And I did, and they were fantastic.
Steam has a massive new competitor.
You Steam the scallops? Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Tencent is refreshing its games platform for a global audience and relaunch, which means that we could actually see somebody taking on Steam. And Tencent is actually much larger than Steam is. So that will be an interesting showdown if it does happen. But they are saying that they are getting ready to launch digital games for Western audiences. And if you're not familiar with, who's Tencent? Tencent is a Chinese company that owns a lot of different things, including League of Legends, parent company Riot Games. They own Wii Game, that's the platform that they have, that's like Steam, just not in this part of
So
neck
all
of the
they
woods.
have to do. So basically, all they have to do is say you can only play League of Legends on their service, and then boom. You think they'll do that?
I don't know. They own Supercell, which is Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. They own a chunk of Glue Mobile, which is the Kim Kardashian Hollywood. It has stakes in Epic and Activision Blizzard. There's a market firm that estimates that they control 13% of the entire games market, which is crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah,
For a company that most people have probably never heard of.
right.
That's usually
So-
how it works.
I'm sure a billion Chinese people have heard of it.
Well, I'm sure it's more like 4.5.
They don't count.
4.5 billion is the actual correct number according to their download stats that they've published. So that's crazy right there. Oh yeah, I actually linked in our newsfeed the Americans Gods review that Polygon put up, where somebody said that it may be Brian Fuller at his finest ever. And if you're not sure who Brian Fuller is, he was the writer for Hannibal, which a lot of people, including Kate, liked ecstatically. So he's the
more
one.
than liked.
Yes,
I
and
hate every single person who never watched it.
I was waiting for that.
Netflix. Twitch has announced 2 new subscription options for partner streamers. There's already the $4.99 subscription, but then they'll also be rolling out 2 new tiers at $9.99 a month and $24.99 a month. People who subscribe at those higher levels will have access to special emotes, can help streamers unlock new emotes faster, and a bunch of other bonuses that they can get.
Emotes.
Yeah.
If you've ever
Hey.
been in a Twitch chat, you know that people love them.
I know.
Power
I
of
can't
emotes.
figure it out. I'm too curmudgeon-y.
So I ended up getting these stories in the feed backwards, so let me find the first one so that I can discuss it. Nintendo has discontinued the NES Classic Edition globally. They gave no reason, and they have never provided enough to meet demand. So they are just saying, oh, if we understand that a lot of people still want these, so if you still want one, check with local retailers to see what their options are in terms of providing you with stock. Meaning there is none, and there never will be again.
We're Nintendo.
Check
You're Nintendo. Go screw yourself.
check your local retailers that never have.
Yeah.
I still convinced they're just selling their entire warehouse on eBay.
Yeah, that was a theory we came up with.
So the interesting thing is now that immediately my NES Classic with the box, which I have, is apparently going to be a collector's edition. So hooray!
It already is.
I will take $745 for it.
I think you can get 120.
No, I'm good. I'll wait till it's
It
$745.
may be up. It may be up to 150 today.
But that being said, the new rumor is that Nintendo is going to launch a SNES Classic this year.
That no one will ever be able to get.
Which will now be triply impossible to find.
Probably. But they're saying that would be one reason why they would discontinue the NES Classic, is if they're about to roll out the SNES Classic.
You want to buy both, like in a bundle, even.
Okay.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
prices are up.
what are they up to, Dave?
Like $275 buy it now is
I-
very common.
I
And
figured
that's
by-
for vanilla. The modded ones are going for near $1,000 now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, somebody's got a picture of like a whole big pile of them and are $300 buy it now. Yeah, dude, sell it. just
I'll
sell it.
I'll wait.
Sell
a
it
little bit
and
longer.
spend $50 on a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yep.
what I did when I couldn't get one. I was like, I'll make a retro Pi. I already have a Super NES Classic. Thank you very much.
So obviously it will be a big question as to what games would be included with it. And then next year, do we see a Nintendo 64? No, it'd have to be a Lunchbox Mini first, right? Have to be a GameCube
So what
classic.
what games does everyone think will be on it? Seriously.
Mario.
Castlevania.
Paper Mario?
Chrono Trigger, maybe.
Oh God!
Any of the Mario stuff's going to be on there.
The problem is they don't own the rights to
Super Mario RPG.
Chrono Trigger, but I would hope that it would be on there. Oh man,
Final
Chrono
Fantasy
Trigger!
6, maybe.
God, please give me ActRaiser 1 and 2.
Nah, I think you're reaching for that.
Why?
ActRaiser, really? ActRaiser on
Donkey,
there?
Donkey.
Yeah, there's so many other things on there that are
Super
like
content.
higher profile.
Huh. Donkey Kong Country.
I said Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, and there's like 20 of those.
2 specifically.
3 of them. Isn't there 3? There's 3 of them.
Star
Was
Fox.
was Dr. Mario Super Nintendo?
No, Dr. Mario's NES Classics. It's actually on the
Those are-
NES Classic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of anything
Yeah.
else. But yeah.
Mario Kart, F-Zero,
Yeah.
Pilot Wings.
Spider-Man.
Link to the Past, obviously.
Well, yeah. Spider-Man will definitely appear in Avengers 4, which I think was assumed, but no one knew for sure. Which, Matt, to your great comfort, means he doesn't die in the first one.
Well, a Spider-Man is in the second. Who knows which one?
Yeah. A new ESA Essential Facts for 2016 just was released that shows tons of interesting stats about the video gaming industry. A big breakdown of the demographic core gamers, which interestingly does not fall how most people think it does. For males, 18% of the total market is under 18 years old. 18 to 35 makes up 17%. 36 to 49 is 11%, and 50 and above is 13%. So, Matt, you and I fall in the smallest percentage demographic possible, the 36 to 49.
Jeez.
And females are pretty much evenly split across the board. It's 11%, 10%, 8%, and then 13%. But what's interesting is that digital purchases last year. I'm sorry?
That's how I thought the female numbers would be higher by now.
Well, it's not giving it's not saying here's the number. It's the percentage across the age demographics of all female gamers. So it's saying out of the total number of female
gamers, it's just the percentage of female gamers.
correct.
Right. That's why I thought the percentages would be higher. You're saying this percentage is up? Never mind. I
I'm
must be understanding
confused.
it wrong.
You are, I think. It's saying out of the total number of females that do play games, 11% are under 18 years old. 10% are 18 to 35, 8% are 36 to 49, and 13% are age 50 and above. For females.
That's so. Do you have to?
Yeah.
You have to add the males and females together because neither
that's
was made to
I'm confused.
Yeah, I believe you have to add them together to get 100%. Yes. That sounds about right too.
almost. The division is much closer then, so it's like 55 to 40 roughly, if I'm doing math in my head well.
Yeah, it's pretty close. But the interesting thing,
we're Adam.
you're really stuck on this. Let me go look it up for you. Hold on.
No. I said if we're adding them together, then that makes sense. That's why I was wondering why the numbers were so low. Because when you're giving percentage, like that's nowhere near 100%. Where's the rest of them?
Yeah, no, you add the two together. I'm pretty sure. Let me
Apparently,
see.
there's like a 45% that's like 90 or above. It's crazy.
That 99 for video game playing females, it's pretty wild, man.
But the
My
reason
grandma
that
loves Shanghai.
The reason I brought us all into this digital statistic help is because digital purchases rose to 74% of total game-related sales in 2016. 74% of all game sales were through digital. That's crazy. The dollar amount that's attached to that is $24.5 billion.
I'm gonna say that number is that's kind of a skewed statistic. I'm gonna say
Why is
because
that?
you're saying all games total. right? So I'm
Yes.
assuming that's including mobile, PC.
Yeah, but absolutely. Absolutely. I'm
Right.
sure it is.
There's no other option. You can't get a physical game for mobile.
I'm looking
So
through the data.
they're adding
now to
in
see.
numbers from a one. Yeah, if that's numbers for a 100% digital market to skew everything else. That's clearly what I would consider bad data.
Oh, it's not bad data. It just depends on what you're trying to segment down to prove or disprove looking at the data. So I'm not seeing...
I would want to see numbers for console only.
Yeah, I
which,
would want to
which
see
they're
the
not
website
gonna.
for-
They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna break that out. But I'm looking through here.
Yeah, this is flawed.
If it's console and PC only, then it's probably a decent
I wouldn't even
include mobile platform.
See,
Even
the thing.
PC
The thing about it
PC
is
pretty
keep
much all
in.
digital.
Yeah, but keep in mind who this is and what they're releasing this for. This is the ESA, which takes gaming as an entirety and is a what are the people that stump on Capitol Hill? My brain's so not working still. The groups, lobbyists. They're lobbyists for the video gaming industry. So they're not going to segment it down to just consoles or etc. So the data is not skewed. It's just not segmented in the way that you would like for the informational analysis that you would like to do. So there's a difference between skewed. No, there's a difference between skewed because skewed has a negative connotation. There's nothing wrong with the data. It's just not presented in the way that you want to break it down, right?
It's not that I want it broken down that way. It's not really entirely representative. Like when you're sitting there saying,
I remember though, you and I are coming from a very different place in our brains, Dave. Right? For most people that play games on their phones are considered gamers. So, you know that's just part of the environment.
no, that's actually not my issue. They're saying, you know, this X number % of sales are digital.
Which is true.
That's
It's a factual.
right. But the implication is
There's an option.
there's a choice between physical and digital, and there's.
See, I made this exact same argument about the Han shoots first thing, and you didn't like it, so I invalidate your argument and we move on.
How is that a choice?
Oh my goodness. Let's not
The
I
Greedo-
remember this. I remember this. I don't want to get into it again. Let's just move on. Please, God.
Greedo was choosing. Digitally reworked it? I don't understand.
Okay. So here's what it says, and this is as far as it goes into the breakdown. It says for purchasing, digital format sales include subscriptions, digital full games, digital add-on content, mobile apps, and social network games. So
Social network games. So
yeah, so they'd be like the Farmville.
you buy
yeah.
Farmville books. Oh,
Yeah, so
That is
yeah,
diving
it's including stuff that's like can only be.
not true because you can buy a card to get Farmville points.
That is absolutely
Yeah,
true.
but the game itself is all digital.
But you
You
bought a
can still
physical
buy a
thing.
physical
to
thing.
get the digital copy.
But they're not counting that.
Well, they would
Yeah.
count that as
Said,
physical.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they would. Because he said like
That would be
That's-
considered physical add-on
The-
to the game.
Of how many people are buying actual physical cards.
It doesn't give that information.
They would know how many people claimed codes that were on those cards. Yes.
So what's that number?
It doesn't
Well, they-
tell me that number.
it didn't.
It's
They didn't break it down that far.
Oh,
right.
It's for
It's
broad spectrum. Can we please stop this conversation?
Dave wants his spreadsheets.
if they're gonna
He
go
want-
for numbers,
he wants-
I
he
want
wants them-
numbers. I'm sorry.
No, they're not going to give that to you without the subscription.
Curious.
they're not going to give that to you without the subscription to NPD, which costs tens of thousands of dollars per quarter. So if you want that, they will accommodate you if you buy the subscription to NPD.
Get on that, Dave.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that.
Captain,
like a fake email address and just download the white paper.
No,
That stuff.
they don't give that
We're
option.
reading a lot of white papers this week.
Yeah. Captain Marvel's directors have been revealed. Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck will helm the first female-fronted superhero movie.
I had no idea who those are, but Ian.
But Ian, what?
Ian is super stoked.
Yeah, I actually did look
You're
it
a
up.
geek guy.
Mississippi Grind, Half Nelson, and episodes of the TV shows The Affair and Billions is apparently their previous work.
Yeah, which means nothing
probably,
to me.
Ian's probably because of Half Nelson.
Probably so. Will Smith is apparently in talks to play the genie in the live-action Aladdin remake.
Just make
too
some
weird.
original movies.
Which,
Animated movies.
I don't know that it's... I mean, no one's going to replace Robin Williams. Ever. There's no way you could do it. But if you were going to go a different direction, Will Smith is likable enough and relatable enough that I think that might actually not be a bad idea.
Then just go for Sinbad. Is he still alive?
No,
He's
likable.
played a genie before.
He's
Likable and relatable.
I just love that I started on
Well, Shaq's free. He's played a genie before
That's
too.
on April Fool's.
Likable,
Thinky.
relatable.
When they put out a thing saying that they found VHS bad movie, and I laughed and I showed my fiance and I was just like, oh, check this out. She goes, oh, I don't know. I'm just like, no, you don't. And it was crazy because I thought like it was just kind of like, but that really was a thing. People remember this movie.
Did they find it in a dumpster? They found it buried in the desert along with the
They found them actually.
Yeah,
That was a good. I love that documentary.
Marvel's Cloak
That
and
was a
Dagger.
really well done documentary.
Marvel's Cloak and Dagger got its first trailer, which will be appearing on Freeform. I have to say that it looks super slow, which worries me.
I haven't watched it yet, so.
But it's two of my favorite characters.
It looked a lot better. It looked a lot better than I thought it was. But I have the feeling they're going to go teen angsty.
Well, that is Freeform's form.
Yeah. So they're really setting up teen angsty. I'm not sure how much of the superheroing is going to be going on.
That's all I have for news. Anybody else have any extra news morsel goodness bits that I might have missed?
We didn't talk about the Star Wars trailer.
There's a Star Wars trailer?
Well,
Yeah.
I hate you.
Actually, I really liked the trailer. The question that I have is, do you think that Luke is saying that there needs to be a third entity like a Grey Jedi that does a better job of combining the Light Force and the Dark Force into one thing, and that is why he's saying there should be no more Jedi? Or do you believe that he is training Rey but not expecting her to pass the Jedi knowledge on to anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he appears to be training her at all doesn't seem to mean that he thinks that that Force users should no longer exist or shouldn't be trained in how to. Much more of a Qui-Gon Jinn living force type philosophy with it, rather than the strict Jedi Sith doctrination. It's
and
pretty bad. That's the camp I'm falling into.
Rey's gonna be shooting lightning out her fingers. That's all I know.
Well, it opens up the idea for a Star Killer type character, right? I mean,
Yeah.
which I really like that storyline, so I'm not against. I don't know. I will say that I am intrigued enough to be interested in the movie. I thought the trailer was good. I want to see where they go with it. And I'm
well
not
crafted.
I am not a huge Star Wars fan, and I thought it was really good.
Eye for a scene. Yeah.
So there is one thing that I
poster.
did. Yeah, I did find one thing. Palmer Luckey, who was recently let go by Facebook from his Oculus Rift company, etc. I guess there was a reporter that recently uncovered a series of Trump donations totaling $100,000 through a shell company called Wings of Time. And the address on it is Fiend Lord's Keep, which are both references to Chrono Trigger. And by connecting those dots, they figured out that it's Palmer Luckey that's making those donations. A little video game news, a little politics. There you go. Hooray. That's the only
I thought it
news.
was like time. I thought it was gonna be like what was the result of that.
No. So, I don't think I saw anything else. Did you? So let's get to our final thoughts. Let's start with you, Dave. Final thoughts for today.
PC gaming's alive and well.
Wow, really?
I just, some actually, I will talk about. I didn't realize Steam had achievements, and I got the lamest achievement I've ever gotten in a video game. I started playing the game, and it gave me an achievement.
That sounds like an achievement made
really?
for you.
Yeah, it is an achievement made for me, but I'm upset about it because it's just like, why even have this stuff? Although I did get one that was pretty funny, and that made me laugh, but I think that's just because it's the game specific.
Kate, final thoughts?
No.
Nice.
Oh gosh.
Look
all
how
right.
measured that was. That was perfect.
All right then, Matt. Final thoughts?
Yeah, all my thoughts went somewhere to die. I was hoping Facebook would give me something quick, but it's not. I don't know. What's going on? What's coming up? Guardians of the Moon. Disney Afternoon Collection launched this week, and some stuff going on. So go find something to read. Oh, and Thanos is Cable.
Yes, that is
Cable
true.
Thanos.
Yes. In fact, the funny part is they showed him in his prosthetic chair for Cable, and his face is covered in blue latex. They're doing some kind of mold, and I'm like, think about that for a minute. That guy gets to say that he's been both Thanos and Cable.
Yeah, they're doing this for some kind of big joke in the movie.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
they're-
I'm sure that.
I'm kind of huge.
Yeah. My final thought is a couple things. Number one, play Persona 5. If you like JRPGs, you will love this game. Number two is play Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's really good. And then we'll end the show as we always do with a sage piece of advice to carry you through your next week. So Mexican magician tells the audience he will disappear on the count of 3. He says uno, dos, and then poof. He disappears without a trace. Until next week, game on!